week's income from the sponsors has cleared, and we're making good profit against our running costs.
Hey, what's up guys, Arva here, and welcome back to another episode of my F1 2020 My Team Career Mode, episode number
28 here for the Spanish Grand Prix. If you haven't seen the previous episode, make sure you go check that one out before you see this one. I bet you guys were properly confused, weren't you? Anyway, here we are, brand new video, brand new intro as well. Thank you to Robert on Instagram for making me an intro. He's made a purple version and a yellow version. You'll see the yellow version maybe on like regular videos that aren't my team related. I feel like 2019 we were addicted to yellow. 2020 is the year of purple, it seems. I don't know what it is, but it's really growing on me. Anyway, upgrade wise, major rear downforce upgrade. That's going to go on the car in time for the next episode, which will be Monaco. My goodness, as if we weren't OP enough. We're heading into the race weekend. I actually bailed out of doing the weight upgrade, the downforce upgrade on the rear. I wanted to get the momentum of the departments behind me before I rushed into, literally, this next upgrade. And if we do rush into that, it'll be on in time for Monaco. So let's do that. Because of the higher morale of the team, that means the failure rate is a little bit less, and that's why I decided to wait it out a little bit for the morale boost to come through. And there we are. One thing we're also going to work on is durability. That is something that which we are severely lacking. We are the worst in the field by quite a mile, so that is something we need to endeavor to work on over the course of this season. You can see a meteoric rise to P2 in the performance index. We're still not the second best car. I still think Ferrari is better. Ferrari, pound for pound, really do well for their car. They still seem to be able to take the fight to Mercedes, essentially, and sometimes be even faster than them. So the performance index isn't the be-all and end-all of everything. So that's worth noting. But we have risen very quickly in Season 2, maybe alarmingly fast. Like, no one else seems to be upgrading, at least at the front of the pecking order. Red Bull, Mercedes, Ferrari, they've brought nothing to the table since Australia, and that is very, very confusing to me. I wonder if there's something like literally blocking them. Maybe it's money. Maybe they don't have Spec 2 upgrades or something. It's odd. But here we are then, qualifying. You're also joined by 3 AM Benjamin here. And sometimes when I'm tired, I do the best things. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I'm funnier when I'm tired. I do silly things like play Arava intros on my own videos. How is that for branding? I don't know. Anyway, Spanish Grand Prix qualifying. We're currently residing in P22 at the moment. Haven't set a time. We're basically being a little bit cocky here. We're waiting a little bit in this session to go out there and set a time when the track is at its best. I'm trying to save a set of tyres for Q2 and Q3. Hopefully get through on the one run. Across the line, not good enough. It's P18 with a 14.4. We're doing 14s at Spain. See, I'm tired. I make these easy mistakes. So I think, thankfully, when I did this race, I wasn't so tired. But 4 minutes to go. We have to go out there again to set another time. That livery, I love it. It looks so good. Simple, but fresh. I don't know. Sometimes simplicity goes a long way. It's the little things. But anyway, we are up by a little bit, speaking of little things. A tenth and a half up as we go through the third sector. We need to find about 3, 4, 5 tenths, I think, to get out of this session comfortably. So we'll wait and see. One area of the track where I was losing a lot of time was Sector 3. And you can see I'm absolutely cheesing the corners here. A lot of time gain there. 4 tenths up as we exit the final corner. DRS up to the line. Is it good enough for qualifying 2? Is it? Anytime today? No, it is not. It is 17th place for the Spanish Grand Prix. That is very alarming because we look at the results in just a second here. George Russell is in P4 and only 2 tenths shy of being right at the front of the grid. So that is very, very, very underwhelming. 7 tenths shy of our teammate. What the hell am I playing at? I don't know. Let's have a look at the race director, see where we're actually losing time. Like I said, it was Sector 3 that I feel like I was slow. I increased the downforce. George has done a 25.1 Sector 3. We compare that to us. 25.7. 6/10. That's pretty much the difference. It's all in Sector 3. And you guys rode on board with me for Sector 3. It wasn't that bad. So I don't know what it is. Tire temperatures, pressures, could be related there. Maybe the fronts are just too hot and understeering maybe. I really didn't feel like we had understeer. I just can't really put my finger on what the problem was there. Could have been setup related, but I downloaded a time trial setup, an esports guys setup. So I don't know. It's a weird one. Pace was not there in qualifying. Let's hope that it's there for the race. We always seem to improve. We are running an older engine. It's like 50 odd %. But I'd imagine that everyone else is in the same boat. George is in the same boat. So it's odd. Let's hope there's more pace in the race. Let's do it.
Welcome along then to what promises to be another fascinating Spanish Grand Prix. A race which saw Max Verstappen win on his first ever appearance with the Red Bull team in 2016. This after the dramatic coming together of Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg on the first lap. Will we see more moments for the scrapbook here today? Anthony Davidson, thanks for joining me once again for the Grand Prix. Let's talk about Day. They're starting towards the back of the field today in a car that is fast. So they'll be disappointed, won't they?
It's not a nice feeling, I promise you. They've got a quick car underneath them, but they've got onto the grid today and they need a pair of binoculars to see the start lights.
Oi, none
They'll
of
be
that.
desperate for a good start to make up for some of that deficit.
Now that we've got some points on the board, let's continue this form and aim for another top 10 finish.
Anthony Davidson is a very salty boy. We crashed with him once, okay, maybe twice, over the Virtual GP series, and he's taken pot shots at me left, right, and centre. Who's in F1, and who's been demoted to commentator status? That's what I thought. Anyway, one stop, mediums to hards. This is how we dig ourselves out of trouble in the Spanish Grand Prix. 5 red lights. And off we go for the Dirty Air Understeer Simulator of 2020. It's been a shocking start. Alfa Romeo flying right past us in the early gears up to turn 1. And we take a cheeky P16. Potentially P15 if we can get the outside line. Turns the inside on Magnussen. And there we go, into the top 15. We need, I don't know, top 7, top 6 result. That'd be a good recovery from today's Grand Prix. It's going to be very, very hard to overtake here. This place and Hungary are right up there as 2 races which are nigh on impossible. I think Monaco is easier to overtake at than here on this game. There's not much dirty air at Monaco. It's the nature of the corners because they're all slower speed. But here at Spain, it's dirty air, high speed galore, it seems. But we'll try and make some opportunities work for us here on the first lap. Up the inside of potentially both the AlphaTauris. P14, P13, thank you very much. Had to take that initiative early on. Because after the race settles and everyone finds their feet and they're able to run at a normal pace with tyres and everything up to temperature, it becomes a lot harder. But it's gliding through the field like butter, it seems, on this first lap. I just had to pause the game to just scratch my nose. That's better. And back into the action we go, just to prove that we are on 110 and not on 0% AI today. That was pretty ridiculous, the fact that we were able to get alongside Stroll, but I will take it. For the rest of the Grand Prix, it's going to be slim pickings. Just trust me on that. But next up is Lando Norris. Let's see if we can follow him through in this Grand Prix. He's also on the medium compound tyre. Just remember the name Lando Norris. At the end of lap 1, we're following him. And then look at where we are at the end of the Grand Prix. Alright, alright, join me at the end. Anyway, for now though, we're on an old gearbox, we're on an old ICE, nearly 60% there. The reason why I'm looking at all those components right now is because Jeff told me that power was going to be down, mainly due to the ICE, the internal combustion engine. It's going kaput. So too is the Alfa Romeo there. I'm not too sure who that is, but he's just been rear-ended by Matsushita. That is very, very unlucky. So here he is riding on board. Old mate's chilling on the racing line, and then the Williams just doesn't want to veer off that train track and rear-ends him. Gets a bit of front wing damage for that trouble as well. And so that is the end of both of their days in this Grand Prix, I would say, unless there's a late safety car. Unless there's a safety car at some point in this Grand Prix. But we have some early stoppers now. Sebastian Vettel onto medium compound tyres. So too is my teammate George Russell right on cue. Bit of a slow stop there from the boys. I think one of the pit crew just tried to slap the tyre on the right rear. I don't know if was that just me? It just looked a bit weird. I'm tired, so I'm probably seeing things. But anyway, lap 8. Track position is starting to come to us, and this is going to be the main way that we move forward in this Grand Prix. It's going to be so hard to overtake on circuit. We're still stuck behind Lando Norris. 2.3 seconds is the gap now in the top 5. Ocon running really well there on the podium. So everyone who is starting on mediums in this race is going to be bearing some good points come the end of the day. I think the one stop is just naturally faster as well than the 2. So anyone doing a 2 is going to be on struggle street. Hopefully George can find his way back into some good points in today's Grand Prix. But both the AlphaTauris following me through quite well. They're only a second or 2 back, and I'm not really dropping them in this Grand Prix, so it shows that they've got really good pace in that car. Potentially been working on their downforce, it seems, lately. But pit window is now open. We're approaching the halfway stage of this Grand Prix. Lewis Hamilton is into the lane, onto his hard compound tyres, and he will stretch those out to the end of the Grand Prix without any issues. Tyre wear is generally pretty high around this circuit due to the nature of all the high-speed corners, but I don't imagine we'll struggle too much with tyre wear just to get these hards to the end of the race, especially with our tyre wear upgrades we do have applied to this car. But into the lane we go. I think the tyre wear on the mediums was only like high 30s, early 40s, so we should be able to get comfortably to the end on the hards and be able to push on them quite well. But as we rejoin on the circuit, it looks like it's going to be P14 in this Spanish Grand Prix. In front of us, we've got both the Red Bulls trying to chase down a tracing point. In front of them is another Ferrari, a Renault, and my teammate George Russell. So let's hope that Georgie boy can have the straight line speed to overtake people on this start finish straight and really make some inroads towards the end of this Grand Prix. He's going to be an absolute weapon, he will, with that downforce, with that straight line speed, the weight reduction upgrades we've got applied to this car. There really is no weakness to this car like I alluded to in the last episode, apart from maybe the brakes, but this isn't really a circuit where the brakes get tested all too much. Everyone right now on softs, who started on softs in front of us, needs to stop again. I'd imagine we pretty much get all of those positions. The one which might be contentious is probably Charles Leclerc and maybe even our teammate George Russell. Depends on how strong his pace is and how well he can get through the field towards the back end of this race. A lightning stop there from the boys there, putting on... Oh, they put the hards on. Well, George is not going to come rushing back to the points in any hurry. What? Why? I did 15 laps on mediums at the start of the race. Why can't George do the same at the back end? That makes no sense to me. Well, it's a shame. So George is going to struggle for pace a little bit. There's Matsushita, speaking of struggling for pace. It is not fun being in the Williams. They have been upgrading recently, but they are still miles away from anyone else in this performance index in this Season 2 career mode. But it's lap 23. I did tell you to remember the name Lando Norris. I'm not too sure if you guys have heard of him before, but he's a Formula 1 driver for McLaren. Bit of a streamer as well, so it's nice to see that Twitch streamers can break into the world of Formula 1 and showcase their talents on a racing track. Anyway, all jokes aside, we're still stuck behind him. And it's now our task to chase him down in the final 8 laps of this race. Haven't made a single overtake, if you haven't noticed, since lap 1. Yeah, it's pretty bad. But let's see if we can do one on track on Lando here. Still 8 laps to go. Fast forwarding, you can see as we follow through the third sector, we don't really get the greatest exit out of the final chicane, and that's probably where we lost the time in quali. The third sector has changed, and the flow is a little bit different. I need to perhaps perfect my lines a little bit through there. It's a little more clunky through there. I can't flow the car as nicely. Previous games, you could mount the curbs a little bit more successfully, and get a better run out of there. But for the moment, I don't really know what line is the best, whether I need to be avoiding the curb, whether I need to mount a little bit more. Safety car has been deployed as Daniel Ricciardo, for the second time in as many Grand Prix, has caused a safety car at the dying embers of a race. This time, it is no fault of his own. It's actually the car letting him down. So, nice to see that Renault having reliability issues in the game as well is very realistic. Well done, Codemasters. But yeah, 6 laps to go, and I was very tempted to come into the lane, put on a set of soft compound tyres, and charge my way back towards the front of the field. But given the nature of this circuit and how much we've struggled to make any inroads so far, I thought probably wouldn't be the greatest decision in the world to give up that track position. So I'm going to play it safe, and at worst, just bank the points that we've already got against our name at the moment. Safety car is coming in at the end of this lap. Esteban Ocon, before the safety car, was actually struggling with an issue, and he got overtaken by Leclerc to fall off the podium. And so I'm hoping that Ocon has still got this issue, which is going to be causing him to be going a little bit slowly. Speaking of slowly, there is a lap car up ahead. I believe it's my former teammate, Mick Schumacher, pulls to the inside, gets out of absolutely everyone's way. So big shout out to Mick for having the awareness to not get involved in any battles there. So fair play to him. But you can see both the AlphaTauris are pretty pacey on the safety car restart. My tyres are a little bit cold. This naturally affects the player a little bit more, and so it takes about a lap or two to fully get back into the swing of things. And now we're going to see if we can mount a late race charge towards Lando Norris. I believe for Renault, they've sorted out their issues for Ocon, and he's stretching away once again. So the battle in this Grand Prix is going to be all about trying to get a top 5 and trying to get in front of Lando Norris, who we have been stuck behind for the entirety of this Grand Prix. 32 laps of staring at that orange papaya gearbox. And I think Jeff was complaining about the gearbox copping a beating. But to be honest, I don't care. I'm abusing every element of the car now just to try and get in front of Lando. I think we do have one more corner cutting token up our sleeve. We may use that on this last lap if we see fit. Speaking of, it is the last lap now, and we're just going to leave the car in overtake in an effort to get in front of Lando. I think I'm going to target turn 4, see if I can get as close as I can. I haven't been able to overtake in the conventional area, so I'm going to have to do it somewhere that doesn't quite make sense. Maybe try and catch him out unawares, but heading into turn 4, couldn't get him. Turn 6, nothing. Our next opportunity is heading into turn number 10, or is it turn 11? I think this is turn 11, this hairpin corner, but we're nowhere near close enough. Crofty would have been making a commentary about, is he close enough to dive? But, mate, I'm a second back. It's never going to happen. So it looks like it's going to be P6 in this Spanish Grand Prix. Ben.exe stopped working for a second there. Even I noticed that. That was weird. But final chicane. It's been a frustrating Grand Prix. Dirty Air has really spoiled this one. Haven't been able to overtake anyone. And it is 8 points.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
I'm thinking maybe for next season we do a reduced calendar and we maybe take this one off the calendar. So too with Hungary. Let me know what you think about that.
The Mercedes team pulled out a fantastic performance today. They should be proud. Talk to me, Ant. What was it that set them apart from the competition today?
Well, the safety car completely changed the race, didn't it? It's hard to say exactly what would have happened without it, but there's no question that they came out of that situation in a good position.
After an excellent performance at the Grand Prix, I'm sure there'll be plenty of celebrations tonight amongst the Mercedes team, and they certainly deserve it.
Another race, another win for a Mercedes-powered car. GG's to Valtteri Bottas. With the rate of development, I do wonder if we can get in this fight for the championship maybe. We haven't put a good campaign behind us today here at Marduk Motorsport. I really didn't qualify well. I really should have done a bit better. But maybe qualifying poorly has opened up the strategy of doing the one stop and has meant that I probably finished in a better position than what I would have otherwise if I would have been inside the top 10. That's an interesting thought. But, yeah, tough Grand Prix. Very, very tough. I really gave it my all to try and get in front of Lando and anyone who was in front of me at any point in the Grand Prix. It was really hard to make inroads. The dirty air was very potent. I didn't have the greatest straight line speed in the world. I was running, I think, 5.9 wings. Maybe I should have backed it back down to 4 to give myself a bit better straight line speed. But I think the crux of our whole weekend kind of unraveled at the final chicane. Weren't really strong there. Weren't laying the power down well. Probably could have floated through there at the apex point of the final chicane as well. And yeah, that one corner has proved crucial. Couldn't move forward. But we had a good strategy, and that was how we were able to get ourselves out of some poor track position. Unlucky for George to get only P9 in the end, but maybe quite good in the end there, because he actually managed to finish in front of Sebastian Vettel. I do feel for him. He was running right behind the Mercedes, I believe, in P4 until the pit stop phases. So it's a bit unlucky. I think we need to work on our strategies. Maybe as an upgrade going forward, maybe work on tyre wear so that George can more comfortably go for these aggressive strategies using the softer compounds of tyre. But guys, that's it from me today. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to see plenty more racing game content. If you're new around here, please subscribe. I would really appreciate that. I think I might have said please subscribe twice now already. But it's 3 a.m. I'm very tired. My brain is not working. Hopefully you enjoyed today's video. And next time, join me for the Monaco Grand Prix. Nothing really needs to be said other than it is the Monaco Grand Prix. And it is an episode that is not to be missed. Until then, I'll see you next time.